Hi, my name's David Giles. I'm the CEO of Enzogenol Limited, a New Zealand company that manufactures the world's best pine bark extract. So to make the world's best pine bark extract, you obviously need the world's best pine trees. And here in New Zealand, that's exactly what we have. These trees, the Pinus radiata, are the fastest growing pine trees anywhere in the world, and they grow in the world's most pristine environment. There's no chemicals, no pesticides used in their cultivation, and they are harvested on a sustainable basis. From these trees we get very fresh, pure New Zealand pine tree bark, and that is the only product that goes into making Enzogenol.
We've got an awful lot of faith in Enzogenol to help us retain the health that we're lucky enough to still have. Remembering that we live in a community of older retired people, we still feel health-wise better than most of them.
A randomized controlled trial, pilot randomized controlled trial on Enzogenol in people with mild traumatic brain injury. And we were astonished with the trial results that showed that cognitive failure measurement and cognitive functioning in people who were taking Enzogenol has improved statistically significantly.
We've taken Enzogenol for 19 years, Mark?
Yep, without fail. There.
Oh, we boogie board in the surf.
Really?
It's really funny, yeah, we just love it. And when our kids or friends come and stay with us, we've got plenty of boogie boards for everybody, and so they come with us, and it's so much fun.
My eyesight is really good, far beyond what it normally is for a guy of my age, and I attribute that absolutely to the consumption of Enzogenol.
Our Enzogenol pine bark extract has been tested in several clinical trials that have shown great promise for Enzogenol as a natural therapeutic for people with brain function as well as cardiovascular health issues. With this research, our customers can really have the confidence that Enzogenol does deliver the benefits for their brain function that they're looking for.
And I know that Mark and I must be two of the luckiest, happiest people in the world. Not just New Zealand, in the world. I mean, look where we live. And we're very lucky that Enzogenol has allowed us to live this life as well.
Enzonutraceuticals has researched the properties and health benefits of Enzogenol for the past 10 years, in collaboration with several laboratories and clinical scientists. Several studies have been published in the peer-reviewed scientific literature demonstrating a number of health-promoting effects of Enzogenol. Canterbury University scientists have shown that Enzogenol has higher antioxidant activity compared to several other extracts, including those from grapeseed and other pine barks. The first clinical study showed that Enzogenol provides effective protection from oxidative stress, reducing protein oxidation and DNA damage in the body. This clinical study also showed benefits for the cardiovascular system, demonstrating healthier blood flow and reduced blood pressure. In a study on smokers, Enzogenol was able to reduce inflammation and oxidative stress after only 6 weeks of treatment. A study in the US has shown how high doses of Enzogenol can reduce the severity and frequency of migraine headaches. And in the most recent clinical study, Enzogenol improved cognitive performance, including memory processing, attention, and concentration after only 5 weeks of treatment. I would now like to show you some of this scientific evidence in more detail. One of the critically important activities of Enzogenol is its antioxidant activity. The power of Enzogenol as an antioxidant has been shown in several investigations. Researchers from Canterbury University compared enzogenol to several other antioxidant vitamins and plant extracts. This study showed that enzogenol has much stronger antioxidant activity than vitamin C or catechin or maritime pine bark extract. This type of in vitro testing is carried out in a test tube. To be sure that enzogenol actually works in our body, one needs to look at the health effects in actual people. This is done in so-called clinical trials. In a clinical trial at the Christchurch Hospital in New Zealand, the Lipid and Diabetes Research Group investigated whether enzogenol can reduce oxidation in people. There were 25 people in the study taking enzogenol for 12 weeks. Blood was taken from people before and after 12 weeks on enzogenol. The blood was analyzed for DNA damage using the COMET assay. This test can distinguish between healthy cells with intact DNA and damaged cells with broken DNA. The results of this study, published in Nutrition Research, showed that enzogenol significantly improved people's oxidation status. In this graph, you can see how the DNA damage was reduced significantly in 19 of the 25 people, from the first test at baseline to the second test after taking enzogenol for 12 weeks. This means that enzogenol reduced oxidation systemically in the whole body, resulting in a lower level of overall oxidation, which means healthier cells, healthier organs, and a healthier body. In 2 clinical trials on cardiovascular health, at Christchurch Hospital, scientists investigated if enzogenol could improve blood circulation and inflammation. These studies tested several parameters, including endothelial function, a measure for the elasticity of blood vessels, plasma viscosity, a measure for the thickness of the blood plasma, fibrinogen levels, a measure of systemic inflammation, and blood pressure, indicating the overall state of cardiovascular health. The results from these trials showed that endothelial function improved by up to 20% and plasma viscosity improved by 4%. Fibrinogen levels were significantly reduced in heavy smokers taking the enzogenol compared to those taking placebo. Blood pressure was measured in the cardiovascular and the brain function trials. The results from these studies showed that systolic blood pressure was reduced by up to 7 millimeters. In summary, these clinical trials showed that enzogenol can improve blood circulation and the health of your blood vessels. Enzogenol can also reduce inflammation in the body and lead to a reduction in blood pressure. In our most recent clinical study at Swinburne University in Melbourne, researchers of the Brain Sciences Institute investigated the effects of enzogenol on brain function. In this study, 42 participants took either enzogenol or a placebo for 5 weeks, and the scientists measured changes in cognitive performance and brain activities. The study was published in Phytotherapy Research in 2008. The results from this study showed that the participants taking enzogenol improved significantly over the placebo group, with a reduction in response times on particular memory tasks. This improvement was equivalent to a reduction in brain age by up to 12 years, or with other words, the normal decline of response time that happens when we get older was reversed by up to 12 years after only 5 weeks of enzogenol. The brain activity measurements in this study showed that enzogenol had a calming effect on the brain that led to increased concentration and better attention on the cognitive tasks, which explains why the participants on enzogenol performed so much better than the placebo controls. To summarize the findings of the clinical trials that I showed you, Enzogenol has been shown to reduce oxidation in the body, to improve blood circulation and cardiovascular health, to reduce chronic inflammation, and to improve brain function.
Is about an unlikely fix that could help thousands of New Zealanders affected by traumatic brain injuries.
That's so hard to say.
It is hard to say. Every year. It's normally a beacon of Christmas hope. It's going to be a beacon of a whole lot more. We hope. Here's Matt Chisholm in Taupo.
It's everywhere. The backbone of our buildings, by far and away our most planted tree. Christmas tree.
Christmas trees, definitely.
And for some, an invasive species that's nothing more than a pain in the old proverbial.
This could be a real revolution for brain injury.
What? Brain injury? Yep. The humble kiwi pine, and more specifically its bark extract, is fast becoming a symbol of hope for millions of brain injury sufferers just like Neville all around the world.
Sounds almost too good to be true.
Yes, it definitely does, but we're living proof.
While 51-year-old Neville Boys looks pretty sweet on the saddle now.
Get a bit nervous.
Just 20 months ago, when training for his local Round Lake Taupo road race, an accident involving a car all but killed him.
He had swallowed 9 of his teeth right down into the bottom of his lungs, so his lungs were also collapsing.
We're talking traumatic brain injury?
Yes, extensive TBI. He had bleeding from numerous areas of the brain.
Neville, what do you remember about the accident?
Absolutely nothing.
Neville fought for his life for weeks, then spent months in a brain injury clinic before returning home to Taupo, where a new fight, this time against fatigue, was fought.
I was coming home, he was asleep. I was cooking tea, he was asleep. I would wake him for dinner and he'd go back to sleep.
There was nothing there. My whole life's plan had just disintegrated in front of me.
I had to do everything for him. You know, help him shave, help him dress. He had no balance. He had to be showered.
Karen became desperate and needed help with her hubby. So as we do nowadays, she got on the net and discovered a Kiwi product called Enzogenol, a product made from pine bark extract.
After 6 weeks, I noticed a marked improvement. He wasn't asleep when I came home. He would stay awake until after dinner, and then he'd trot off to bed.
I do what she says at the moment.
It's a smart move.
In most things.
How do you know for sure it's Enzogenol that's helped in Neville's recovery?
I don't think that you can ever know, but I think it's been a huge contributing factor.
After just 6 months, Neville was back at work part-time, full-time within a year, and back on a new bike, with the wife following close behind, training for that race. All milestones the experts said would take 5 or 6 years.
I've got to say you're pretty brave, allowing him to do this.
I don't think I can stop him. I believe at the ACC Severe Injury Conference, Neville was their poster boy because he's been such a success story.
It's success that's even got the scientists amped up. AUT University have recently completed a pilot study on Enzogenol involving 100 people and found the product's antioxidising, anti-inflammatory properties to be very effective.
The most striking difference they showed in everyday memory improvement.
There's more testing to be done, and if Enzogenol proves to be effective,
it would be a major breakthrough in the treatment of traumatic brain injury.
Are you excited?
Absolutely. That's the good thing about science.
Because of this pine bark extract, this couple say they are now excited about life again too.
It's fantastic. A year ago I was thinking, please, let's just get on a year so I can see where he's at. You think, I've never been one to wish my life away, but I really wanted that year to come fast.
I don't think I'll ever get to this stage where I can say, that's it, I'm there, I'm back to where I was. Well, I have to keep pushing for more.
You're going to be on the sidelines as your husband finishes that road race in the summer?
Absolutely, I won't be riding, I can assure you, so I have to be on the sideline.
Nice story, Matthew. And yeah, it was the swallowing the teeth, which is, when you think about it, that sort of injury is probably more common than you'd kind of like.
Just to hear a little thing like that puts it all into sort of perspective.
Makes it all the more brutal. As we said, it's in the trial stage, 100 people trialled so far. Pretty successful, but you've got to say, though, after 6 weeks, to see that sort of improvement, that's pretty promising stuff. Of course, not the first Dr. Science hat here, not the first time bark's been used. Willow bark is the guts of aspirin.
Willow bark?
Willow bark, apparently. Really? No, willow bark, I do know that, not apparently, I know that. I was pivotal in its invention. Hey, but facts.
Speaking of inventions, we should point out too that this one, can you say the name of it, the drug?
Exogenol.
No, it's not exogenol, it's close to exogenol.
It's a real... It's a
Enzogenol. Enzogenol.
It's a Kiwi invention, so
yes.
It's a very cool thing to be done right here in our country.
Researchers in New Zealand claim to have developed a new drug that can help victims of arthritis and other illnesses make a remarkable recovery. They say tests of the drug called Enzogenol have shown promising results, and it's about to make its debut on the market. TV New Zealand has the story.
For 30 years, Judy Osborne says she suffered from severe arthritic conditions, much of her day in pain in bed. 3 months ago, she became one of 100 people trialling Enzogenol, taking 4 pills a day.
From going to being almost completely disabled for a long, long time to now just jumping out of my skin with energy, off painkillers, absolutely fantastic.
Her enthusiasm shared by scientists at Canterbury University who began testing their new product on mice.
The ingestion of Enzogenol actually makes them very much healthier and longer lived, and the incidence of tumour decreases enormously.
The mice were given 2 different doses of Enzogenol. At the end of the trial, only 40% of the control group were alive, but 70% and 74% of those on the antioxidant had survived. Statistics some doctors believe could be duplicated in humans. Recently retired Taupo Dr. Michael Huck says he's used Enzogenol on former patients and himself after hearing about it from friends. He says the results were extraordinary. He's even convinced it led to the disappearance of a small malignant skin tumour on himself. The ingredients for this new antioxidant, specially processed pine bark and water. The project, a 4-year joint venture for the university and an Auckland company. They say the New Zealand pine grows faster, providing more of the compounds needed. The process has been patented worldwide.
We've had exceptional response from companies, manufacturing companies internationally.
The new product at $1 a tablet will be competing with many other antioxidants on the market, and as you'd expect from a company pushing their product, the team behind Enzogenol hope their pills and the people taking them will have a long and healthy life. This is Brent Fraser of Television New Zealand for CNN World Report.
I'm a general practitioner, but I have an interest in a more holistic approach. So I'm looking at the medical side of it, but also looking at the wellness side of it, looking at lifestyle, nutrition, and all this stuff. And I've been interested for many years in offering a more broader approach for people. I've been doing acupuncture, for example, since 1984, when it first started. We trialled it on people with migraine, headaches. We trialled it on people with rheumatoid arthritis. We tried it on people with cancer, different various kinds of cancer, and a few other autoimmune diseases, hay fever. I remember 3 particular cancer patients who all had positive effects. One was a woman undergoing chemotherapy at the hospital, and she went through chemotherapy with absolutely no symptoms from the chemotherapy. At the unit, she was actually helping the other patients who were all vomiting and losing their hair and God knows what else from the chemotherapy. She had none of the symptomatology, which is very interesting. We thought maybe almost certainly the Enzogenol was playing a part in reducing the side effects of the chemotherapy.
Okay.
There was another lady who had a very large lung cancer. One of her main complaints before the lung cancer was constant tiredness. She was always fatigued and exhausted, and she had problems from the intracranial hemorrhage that she had.
Right.
Then we discovered that she had a lung cancer, and she did undergo radiotherapy. I had her on 16 capsules of Enzogenol, as we mentioned. The first thing she noticed was her energy levels improved enormously. The second thing that happened was her lung cancer completely disappeared. And she lived, I mean, her proper life expectancy was probably anything from 6 months to 18 months. She lived for another 6 or 8 years after that. Was a lady who had a bowel cancer. She was probably in her late 60s when it was discovered, with liver metastases. She had resection of the bowel cancer. She had, again, radiotherapy. Again, I had her on large doses of Enzogenol. Again, her life expectancy was probably anything from 6 months to 2 years. 10 years down the track, she's still alive. Her liver metastases disappeared, and she's carrying on life in an absolutely normal way at the age of 80 something. From a health point, I mean, from a disease point of view, we're looking at any. I would trial it on any cancer patients. Right. I tried it on most neurological disorders, particularly migraine, headaches, and stuff like that. Allergy type stuff, I would certainly give it a go. It seems to help with things like hay fever. But from the other point of view, what I'm interested in is not just sickness, but wellness.
Sure.
And I think there's a lot of people out there who are looking for ways to improve their own health.
Sure.
And I think from that point of view, Enzogenol could be a great benefit to a lot of people. Well, I think medicine were really good at dealing with acute illness. If you've got meningitis, if you've got an appendicitis, if you're in a road accident, you want to see a medical doctor who deals with that stuff. Chronic diseases, we're not quite so good at. We use very powerful drugs which often have serious side effects. And what I would like to see more of is moving in the direction where we're looking at preventative kind of health. Getting people at this end of the spectrum before becoming the ambulance at the bottom of the cliff. And I'm really interested in using lifestyle changes, nutritional products, nutritional advice, advice on exercise, advice on relaxation, meditation, the whole person kind of approach. And Enzogenol for me has been particularly interesting and exciting in that it's a local product. We've done it here in Christchurch, and I think it's an excellent product.